Hey, what's going on, everybody? How is everybody doing out there? So just taking care of some things. About to head out, get some fresh air. Um, I've been uh, very much in a hyper motivated state. A lot of ambition, a lot of drive, but also, somewhat suffering. Um, a little bit. I would categorize it as in the depression area, but you know, not super aggressively or um, of any way, in any way to be a concern per se. It's a natural phenomena. It's a human condition. As we wake up and we realize new things and we consider old things that have transpired, some things you're looking at in a sort of regret or whatever. So nothing out of the norm. So nothing to be really concerned about, but it is what it is. And so, the daughter type situation, figuring out where I get in, where I fit in type scenario, and that type of thing. Okay. So nothing to be concerned about. No worries. I believe it's like day 42, I want to say. Almost considering as to whether or not I should even be counting the days anymore. We've gone past the 30-day point. And now it's more about each of the life lessons, momentarily, daily, monthly. It's more about that than it is about the actual number. But we do that, for, I guess, record sake or measurement. But anyways, I woke up today and I often have thought right away in the early, wakings of the day. And I lay there, and that's when inspiration sets in, and I drive everybody crazy because I got this on my mind right now, and I want to talk about this. And so today, the first consideration was in our journey or journeys. Uh, each day, each hour, each week, each month, right? Um, there's a point A to B, right? I'm here right now, and I would like to be at point B at some point in the distant future, and that could be all it is. However, oftentimes we find ourselves making pit stops along the way, don't we? Right? We hardly ever just go A to B. You go out to go shopping to the store, you go out shopping, and you go out with one purpose in mind, and you end up staying for 20, 30 different other purposes, right? And where did the time go, right? How did I spend this much money? All right. So that, again, a human condition. That's what we do. And so I considered this today, and I said, well, on this journey called life, from the perspective of daily, weekly, monthly, however you want to consider it, is it necessarily quote unquote wrong or right to make those deviations, to go off and explore and not just focus on the A to B journey, but to go further, to explore more, to experience more? And what I ultimately conclude is that uh, there are two types of people, at least two types of people, in this from this perspective and in this context. There are the people that just want to do A to B. They're not interested in social hours. They're not interested in meeting new people, making affiliations and associations. They're not interested in that. They're good at what they do. They're academically intact and competent. They excel, and they just go from A to point B. Just tell me what needs to be done, or what is expected of me. I'm going to go from point A to point B and get it done. Short, sweet, and to the point, no fluff, no frill, nothing. All right. There are those people. To me, and from my experience and in my opinion, those people are your introverts, Um, they're so focused on their goals and they accomplish them. They're very successful, uh, you know, status wise and academically. Academically? Why doesn't that sound right? Academically. Yeah. They're very sound and they accomplish. Then you have, the others that, they have goals. It takes them 5 years to obtain a 2-year goal, right? Because why? Because they are distracted, as it were, by the things around life as well. They're not just in here to get a degree. They're also in here for the full college experiment or experience. Okay. They want the parties. They want it all. Now, is one right and the other wrong? I'd argue no. I would say it's all a matter of stick to itness. I'll say stick to itness. I'll say, in other words, if you're going to deviate, if you're going to party, if you're going to not have a laser focus on your goal, then you better finish. You feel what I'm saying? You better finish. You better accomplish that which you set out to do. If you are okay with delaying for an extra 3 years, then that's on you. You see what I'm saying? Who can judge you and say that you're doing it wrong per se? I don't know. The interest you might pay a little bit more or a lot more, for that which you aspire to obtain because you delayed and took longer and the interest is growing. So there is that consideration, but that's up to you. Do you feel what I'm saying? That's up to you as to whether you want to pay that. And if you so choose to pay that, who can judge you? Who can say, well, look, it's my money. It's my hard work. If I want to delay, I want to take extra time. That's just what I chose to do. But guess what? In all of those extra experiences I've had, it has essentially contributed to my betterment in that I have a healthy association affiliation grouping, or I just learned other things. I'm not just a high school student going into college and then in 8 years or whatever become a doctor. I've also got skills, people skills, because I've deviated, right? I also have community skills. Because I've done things in the community at my parties and galas and all that kind of galas, however you say it. I've also, I took some time off of school and I actually dropped out for a minute and I went to go work for my family's plumbing business. So I learned some trade skills as well. So this is what I'm saying. It's not necessarily wrong or right per se, right? It's preference, right? But I gained a whole lot of other skills. I became more of a benefit to society and to the public and my family and friends and all that kind of stuff because I took the time to learn other skills other than just my pursuit, my personal and individual pursuit towards my goal of becoming a doctor. Hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down. So this is what was on my mind today, along with other things, and it metastasized into other conversation as well and other considerations. Now, I contend that we are the sum total of all of our experiences in our life thus far, right? We're the sum total. I said that we are mind, body, and we are spirit. What is the mind? The mind is the storage facility or facilitator of the memories, the sensory experiences that we have compiled to date from very early on to now, to the point of now. And the body obviously is the suit that we wear as soulful spiritual beings. We have an outer layer, a shell that we wear, that we don in order to experience these frequencies, these wavelengths, these happenings, the sun, the warmth, even the slamming of fingers in the door, burning ourselves on stoves, jumping into cold water, bungee jumping, parachuting, all of these experiences that we have, embarrassment, all of these things that we experience are all kept as data in the mind. Okay. And in order for it, once again, to get into the mind, the body has to experience it through one of the five senses. So there's a compilation there. And again, it is stored in the mind. And then, so you get it, you receive it, as in transmitting and receiving, you receive it through your tactile, through your sight, through your hearing, through your taste, and et cetera, et cetera. And so all that data is stored in the mind. That's what the purpose of the body is. And then you have what's called the soul. The soul is the combination of the mind, which is the storage facility. It's not memories. It's the storage facilities that contain the mind, the storage facility that contains the memories. And then, so it's the mind, and then it's what's called the spirit. The spirit is the animus, okay, connoting breath, breathing. That's actually the Latin, spirare, to breathe, or spiritus, breath. That's where we get the word spirit, and that's what the spirit is. The spirit is merely breath, or it is the life giver, the animator. Okay, and so that's what the soul is. The soul is the combination of the mind, again, the storage facility of the memories and sensory experiences, and the animator, the spirit. That's what's going on there. Okay, so we are made of. That's what the human is: mind, body, and soul. And so, with that being said, we can now answer the question: what is my purpose as a human being on this plane or in this time? What is my purpose? Mind, body, and soul. And so, with these weapons, essentially, we are able to both receive and transmit. Now, what's the most important part of this? What is my purpose? Well, let's look at the functionality of all three in one. So, essentially, you're going to receive things. Things are going to happen to you. You're going to experience things through this flesh, right? Through your sensory experiences that are going to end up being stored in the mind. And essentially, what's going to happen is it's going to create those experiences. So, sum total of all your experiences are going to create your personality and character. That's where it's going to get very interesting, because now you act out. And here's the transmission. You've received all of the sensory experiences, the slamming of the fingers in the door, the burning of your fingers, and being embarrassed, and all kinds of things, right? You've experienced all of that. And now those are going to go and be seated in the mind, okay? And now the soul comes into existence, which is, again, the mind and the spirit. Now it's time to animate. Animate. Who gets animated? Well, if you're not animated, let me just say it like this, then you're probably dead or brain dead or whatever. You can't move. You have no animation. And so, what you experience, you portray. I came up with this saying and I shared it on Facebook, and it is coined. It's my term, my term. So the story creates the character. Okay, so that the character can portray the story. Once again, the story creates the character so that the character can portray the story. Okay, and I'm thinking of like a cartoon character. I'm thinking like a Jim Carrey character, like The Mask. I'm thinking like, a character in a Shakespearean play, as well as what we call character, like a characteristic or character trait. Okay, both simultaneously. Okay, so why? How does this work? If you think in terms of a play, okay, the story writer, okay, has an idea about, has some kind of narrative. I'll just say has some kind of a a great story of a start to finish. And in order for that story to go from A to B, all right, or A to Z, however you want to look at it, he or she will implant certain characters that will trigger certain events throughout the story that will collaborate to bring about the successful end of the story, right? All right, so that's our character. So all of the experiences that we have, all the sum total of our experiences from the villain in the story who their parents had left them and this is why they became a villain, or as in Marvel, there's always some kind of a reaction or an explosion or something, and the villain becomes a villain because his face was burnt off, or because he was a really good scientist, and because his boss didn't appreciate him for the work and the contribution. The community laughed at him and scoffed him. He never fit in. And so now an explosion happens at the plant. His face gets blown off. And now he's out to spite the whole world, right? Essentially, the ugliness that he felt inside ends up now showing on the outside from the explosion burning his face or something like that. Okay? He felt ugly initially, without his face being burnt, because society didn't accept him. You get it? Okay. So now, because of those experiences, all right, and because of now the burning of the face, now he acts out in his character as a villain. Okay? And that's what happens to us. That's what we are. That's our purpose. Our purpose is to experience things outside influences and experiences that we perceive through our five senses. And though, again, the memories are stored in the mind, not the brain, the mind. It's like the cloud in today's computer technology, right? It's not a material place. It's an immaterial place. And so that's what we are dealing with, an immaterial place where the experience, so again, the experiences are stored. All right. And so now that we have those experiences stored in that what's it called, a metaphysical place, that immaterial place, now they are animated by the soul. It's a combination of the soul, the spirit and the mind. It's a combination. And so this gives life to those experiences that we have received. And now it's time for us to transmit them, receive and transmit. We're now going to transmit, like the villain, now that his face is burnt and due to all of the ostracization and all of the bullying and whatever it was, the abuses and all that kind of stuff. Now he or she is ready to transmit, the character and personality. Okay, the character and personality is now ready to be transmitted, and now he falls into his role. So, what is the role according to the script of the villain? Okay, think of Batman, think of whatever you want to think, the Joker, etc., etc. And so this is the human condition. This is what we're here for, to experience social experiences and sensory experiences, and they become animated in us, and we start to act out, and we transmit. Now, I've been teaching also on the negative and positive discussion, where that is how energy flows, negative and positive. Without one of those polarities or poles, you won't have a flow of energy, electrons, electricity, energy will not flow. All right. And so it is necessary, if you are alive, if you are living. Stagnant water grows putrid, moldy, whatever you want to say, bacteria ridden, all of that kind of stuff, right? It's not living, it's not moving. And so if you do not move, if you are not living, if you are not animated, then you grow stagnant. You're probably dead, right? Brain dead, or medically dead, clinically dead. And so that becomes an issue. And so if you're living today, you got to be moving. You got to be moving. The energy has to be flowing. Energy flows, negative and positive, once again. All right? Just like your battery in your car. Negative and positive, it takes both. You can't necessarily take one off and expect the car is going to start up and run. One of the poles off the battery. So it is in life, And so we are mind, body, and soul. It is important for us to experience things, right? And so since it's important for us to experience things, Going back to our original start of our discussion, you can be an A to B individual, go straight through without, stopping to smell the roses, as it were, and you get your reward. You start at A and you get to B, you excel, you're quicker than everybody else, get the job done. Now what? Now you've obtained, and you may find that now, because you just A to B it, or A to Z it, and it's everything comes easily. You just get there. You don't stop to smell the roses and everything like that. You might find that life is not as fulfilled, or you don't feel as fulfilled as you could have been had you taken some time to actually enjoy the journey as much as accomplishing the goal. And so, if again, as I stated, we are mind, body, and soul, and it is important to compile all of those experiences to grow a greater personality and character. You might find yourself being, if you categorize yourself as an introvert, that life is less fulfilling. It's very boring. You don't look for growth. You don't look for potential. You have a very negative outlook, etc., etc. That might be because you haven't grown much character and much personality. The people that have gone through the most in life sometimes tend to be the most exciting type people, right? That's why we watch movies and documentaries and biographies and autobiographies, is because we're able to enjoy the extreme situations, or various situations that take place in the subject of studies life, or the subject, and we're thrilled by it, right? It gives us a sort of a high or whatever, and so yeah, we do appreciate it. It's the human condition. We like that type of stuff. We look for it. It makes a great story. Somebody that's been through a lot, the military, went on 7 tours and did all these different things, and experienced and saw all these different things, right? That builds character and personality in that individual, a stick-to-itness, a pride, healthy pride, hopefully, perseverance, toughness, all of those traits. Those are character traits that are all compiled. And again, those are all born by the experiences, the sensory experiences that that person or those people have obtained. With that being said, now let's take it just a step further. Let's take it just a step further. Okay. Again, I stated that, I myself tend to be the character personality type person where I stop off. I might be on my way to, let's say, Florida, and I'll stop, 5, 10 times on my way. And on my way, I may have the tendency to stop off in different cities and little towns or villages, I should say, on my way. And there might present me with a possibility of running into somebody that I influence or that influences me, and a great friendship is born. Okay. A business proposition might be birthed. Both negative and positive things can happen on those little wayward stops, right? Both positive and negatives, but what do they contribute to ultimately? How many times have we said, if we had never made that decision or stopped in that particular place, this would have never happened. And then you look back and say, man, if that would have never happened, what would have happened if, now you might have several children by the woman or whatever, right? And so, but some people have stories where it was because they were on a journey, let's say to Florida, and they stopped off, they had a flat tire or something happened, and they ended up meeting the woman that would become their wife. And now today they have 3 children, 4 children, and living the American dream, as it were, right? But just that happenstance, or that chance that might have not happened had I not just turned into that gas station, had I not just done this or done that. You see, my present now may have never come to fruition. That's the point. And so, this again, is a pure example of our purpose. Our purpose. You want to know what your purpose is, right? Because listen, we need purpose. I'm not just harping on purpose because for no reason. We need purpose. We need passion. Those are the things that keep you alive, keep your feet on the ground, and keep you vertical, as it were, right? That's what keeps you here. When you can't find any other reason to do anything or be motivated by anything, just the fact that you can experience something and it can have a positive, negative influence upon you that will cause you to act, that will actually animate you, like the spirit, right? Spirit is the animus, that which animates, gives life to you. All right. All of these circumstances, those positive and negatives throughout your day are just that. They are incentivizing you to go forward, to appreciate life from various perspectives so that you don't become bored. You want to know why negativity seems to happen when you think you're doing the most positive? You think you don't deserve the negatives that came your way, right? These are the spices of life. That's what they are. I'm talking to myself as well, right? I encourage and build myself up while I'm talking. All right. I'm first partaker of the things that I say. I'm hearing it before you're hearing it, right? So this is what I do. But anyways, those negative and positive are nearly encouraging the flow of electrons, the flow of energy. We're talking a lot about frequency, energy, vibration, and stuff like that. Okay. But it takes, first of all, the negative and positive in order for there to be any flow. And so all of the negatives and positives that are happening around you, as I contend, in your universe, you are the center of your universe. They always told us that the world doesn't revolve around us, but I contend it does. It does. You are the central focal point and axis of your universe. Not everybody else's universe, your universe. You see, you're picking up what I'm putting down. You are very vital and very important to your universe. What is your universe? Your universe composes of everybody, every affiliate, associate, family member, friend that is in your space in this particular point in time, on this particular plane, in your circle or sphere of influence. That is your universe. Okay. That is your universe. And so, that's how you should look at the negatives and positives. I would strongly suggest, from my experiences, that you don't allow those negative and positive situations to first hit your emotional filters. In other words, if you react or act every time and at the time that something negative or positive happens, they won't be properly filtered through rational analysis. Does that make sense? You're picking up what I'm putting down? Yeah, you don't want to go in the improper order. So it's the negative or positive situation, and then rational analysis, right? You need to observe and question that thing to make sure that you get the proper understanding about that thing. And then the result, right, should touch the emotions. Because whatever you feel in your emotions, is going to materialize. So you want to make sure that that's on the back end. So it's, this car cut in front of me. Now, I need to breathe it out. I need to analyze as to what the intent was. The intent to maliciously harm me, or was this just an ignorant or perhaps inconsiderate individual who may be in a hurry for whatever their reason? Now, I go to the second phase of that consideration. Was there a reason because their wife is in the back seat of the car giving birth to a child and we need to get to the hospital? Or are they running from somebody that pulled a gun on them? Or do they have a child in the car that had a medical emergency and they need to go? You see, so that's what I'm saying. But if right away you run it through your emotional filter first, then you won't rational analysis or do any rational thinking, and you might cause something because you impromptu just act, right? Just immediately act and react. And more times than not, you're going to react in a negative way severely, right? Because you're going from zero to hot without any rational analysis, without thinking this thing through, being rational. And that's a very dangerous situation. The human has unlimited capability to destroy, right? If we do not employ rational analysis first. Think about that. Think about that. Think of how many murderers that must be, locked up for 20 years to life who said, if I had just zigged when I zagged, I wouldn't even be here. Like, I wasn't thinking at the time. I just wasn't thinking. So with that being said, we've been on for about a half hour. I just wanted to put some things on your mind. I actually had a different direction I wanted to go in, but I'm going to just let inspiration, I'm going to let the universe do what it does. There was another half to this. I'll maybe do another upload because this one's long enough. But today is the day of the sun, Sunday. Some people call Sunday. And hopefully this inspires you. Hopefully this helps you. Again, and recap real quick. We are mind, body, and soul. We are the compilation of all the things that we experience. And that's okay. That's the way it is. There are people that will rip and run right through life and excel in academia and economically, but lose out on the journey and the experiences. And so they don't build a robust personality, a likable personality, or character, or a commendable character. And so, they're standoffish. They're not very nice people to be around. They don't even know how to really socially interact with people. Those may be the people that cut you off in traffic. They very well might be. All right. And so if you don't like those type of people, or people that act inconsiderate in public, don't raise these type of people, right? We got to start to enjoy the roses along the road, the weeds along the road, the daisies, stop and smell the roses, they say sometimes. Take a little bit of time, slow down a little bit. Life is moving fast enough as it is. Just slow down a little bit. I, myself included, need to work on that. I'm speaking to myself firstly. But, so don't be the A to B or A to Z person that zips right through everything. And then you done left everybody. Let me just put it to you like this way. In running a race, you blow your Usain Bolt or whatever his name is, right? You blow through everybody. Boom, 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 right? After a while, all the people in the stands or the spectators are like, okay, so what? It's not even a competition anymore. Like, you're standing at the finish line 1 minute, 2 minutes longer than everybody else, still trying to get around that bend and get to the finish line. 2 minutes. It's taking everybody else a minute to 2 minutes. So guess what? Is everybody paying attention to you that excelled and got all the way through the race, and you're standing there looking at your clock and, putting your clothes back on? No. All the spectators are looking at who's coming in second, third, and fourth, because they're the ones that are struggling through this thing, and it's neck to neck. It's exciting. Who wants a boring life where everything is just mundane and this ain't even work anymore? Who wants that type of life? That's boring. People like excitement. That's why we watch the movies that we watch. That's why we read the books that we read. We like excitement. We like thrills. Right? All right. Nobody likes a person that does it all or can do it all. It's just struggle a little bit. Make this story interesting. Right? And so everybody's looking at second and third place. First place, you're always winning. What are we going to do? Okay, here's your gold medal. Nah, who's coming in second, third, and fourth? Huh? And so, with that being said, maybe you want to be the individual that stops off every once in a while and enjoys life and experiences new things, not just A to Z. And yeah, mind, body, and soul. You are the sum total of your experiences. And so allow that to build character. And there is no necessarily bad or good, it's positive or negative. Okay. In the normal uh consideration. I know there are people who are serial murderers and all this kind of stuff, that are inherently bad, and they're overtaken with bad, with negativity, and that becomes bad, right? That becomes bad. They could have suffered, abuse and a lot of negativity as a child, you know, but never grew from it, never aspired to be better or do better than those who had harmed them. And all they want to do is use their experience, their negative experience, as an excuse to harm other people because, they don't have the drive, the fortitude, the perseverance to use their experiences to better themselves and others. Those people that make excuses for everything as opposed to making action, making movements, making determinations, making improvements. That's what's going to separate those who have dealt with negativity and have persevered through it, and those who are just going to be bad. I mean, real talk. Nobody likes an excuse maker. And when it comes to the legal system, your excuses aren't going to stand anyways. So if you have, as I have, as a lot of us have, experienced a lot of negativity from youth and from being, abused and all this kind of stuff, who's told you have to stay there? Who told you have to perpetuate the same type of behavior and inflict the same type of harms on another? Nobody said you had to do that. You could literally recognize the injuries that you have obtained as something very negative. And I just don't want to circulate further negativity. You can make that decision, as I have. You can make that decision. So don't make an excuse. Make a decision to act out in positivity, to use that negativity as the energy flow that it is, right? And combine with positive, right? So that you can let that experience flow right through you. That's how electricity flows. And fortunately, lastly, and in closing, remember, energy flows from the highest concentration to the lowest concentration by nature. Why? Because it's looking to achieve what is known as equilibrium. Equilibrium, meaning not bipolar, meaning not extremely positive and not extremely negative. Energy flows from highest concentration to lowest concentration until it reaches equilibrium. That's where we all need to aspire to be, is at equilibrium. Grounded is another term you might recognize. That's where we're supposed to be at. All right, with that being said, hopefully I put a lot on your mind. I'm sure I did. It's like almost 40 minutes. What's wrong with me? What's the matter for me? Anyways, I love you all. Thank you for tuning in for today, this day of inspiration, the day of the sun. All right, enjoy it. It is 69 degrees here in the great state of Wisconsin. It is 12:02 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to get out here, go get a massage, and, and think these things through that we're talking about here. All right, grow yourself. Don't be afraid to grow. Don't be stagnant. Don't be stanky. Don't be pond water scum. Ponds are scummy because they don't move. Live a little. Peace. Talk to you soon.